The 2 Count, where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, and like, and if you're watching the live stream, join us with your comments and questions. And now here are the hosts of The 2 Count, comedian John Russell, and wrestling broadcaster Big Ace.
Hey, buddy, good to see you. Good to see everybody that's watching this evening. Hey, do you ever notice when we start that intro out, and maybe you don't notice it? I notice it because it's the music starts off really fast and then sort of slows down and catches. Have you ever noticed that?
Mm-hmm. A little bit. I usually get lost at the end when the guy's talking.
Hey, Chris, good to see you. Thank you for looking in. Yeah, it's like it speeds up and then it slows down. Anyway, good to see all of you. You're watching The 2 Count. John Russell alongside Big Ace. Gosh, all sorts of good news, all sorts of good things. This week we've got our new feature, which is going to be the top 3, our favorite top 3 of something. And it won't be long. We'll just that because I do a show with my buddy Corey Adam on Thursdays over on his Twitch channel from 10 until 1, and we do a list of the top 10, and it usually takes us about 2 hours because we're both yakking about crap. But 3,
I don't have that attention span.
Do I know? It's like I'm like, don't make me do work.
It's like just too much. Like, I don't know if I'd have enough for the lists, depending on what we're talking about.
Well, you know what though? Here's the thing. It turns out to be really, really interesting because if you say, okay, like for one of the things that we did was the top 10 wrestling promotions, and depending on how you slice it up, right? You've got a bunch of them, and we're talking of all time, right? So, like with he and I, AEW didn't even make our list because they haven't been around long enough, So you got to think about these kind of things, and you're thinking about, David Crockett is a different part versus, World Championship. There's all sorts of different moving parts, and you can slice it and dice it, and that's kind of why it's fun because then you make your case, and you don't get, so you don't get your list shit on by somebody else. That's always good. But you don't want to get your list shit on. You never want to get your list shit on. Anyway, we got a couple things we're going to talk about. We're going to see if there's anything we want to talk about that has happened in the last few days from the last show. There have been some interesting things. We're also going to talk about a little bit of a preview of SummerSlam, which is coming up this Sunday. We don't have a preview of AEW because of the NBA playoffs. They are going to go all wonky for a while. Yeah. So their next show will be on Saturday night. But on that Saturday night, they've got some pretty good stuff. They've got the Women's Tag Championship. So that's the finals of that tournament. And in fact, you got the Nightmare Sisters against Diamante and Ivelisse. Do you remember when I was talking about Ivelisse trying to get her to promote our shirts? Mm-hmm. I should have spent that money before she got signed. God dang it, I'm always $1 too short. So if there's anybody out there that is a wrestler that would like to make some quick cash before you hit it big, get my interest and then you'll get signed. I think that's how it works. It's like, oh, he's interested in having having us help promote. So, and anyway, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And to be honest, I think we talked about this a little last week. I am absolutely delighted that Veda Scott is doing commentary on that women's tag tournament with Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, she was on Dark tonight as well.
Oh, she was awesome. I was hoping that she would be on more because
Excalibur kind of wrote himself out.
Well, did he get sick and stay home or what?
Oh, no, you didn't hear about this.
No.
Oh, no. So video came out of him doing some angle on the indies where they were dropping the N-bomb at a show.
Oh, perfect.
They were against some black wrestlers. They were in the ring. So it was like him and his crew Kevin Owens was actually part of this as well.
Oh boy.
No one really said anything about Owens. But it didn't blow up big time. That's the thing. I think most people understood, like, hey, it was a long time. It was a while ago. They were doing it in gimmick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. But he apparently went to AEW and wanted to get pulled off that next night, because it was like the day before Dynamite.
Oh,
to get pulled off because he was afraid that the attention would be on that and not whatever. And now he's just gone.
Well, that's too bad. Because he did add a certain level of excitement that and knowledge that about the wrestlers that Shivani and JR just simply don't have. But I think Shivani's coming around, and to be honest, Taz has done a tremendous job when they put him in that spot as the expert commentator. Of course, Jericho they can put in there at any moment.
Yeah. So for tonight, it was Shivani, Taz, and Veda.
Very cool. Very cool.
It was good. They were having fun. It was a good show. I don't know. Sometimes you can see why some people are now doing more matches on Dark than they are on Dynamite from when Dynamite first started, which is kind of sad, but I don't know. But then you see some other good names too. So Red Velvet was on there tonight. She looked great. So that was cool to see.
Good. Yeah, I recall. I mean, I recall seeing Veda Scott on ROH and thinking, she's not the best wrestler, but she's definitely fantastic as a character and as a talker. When I think she was with Truth Martini for a bit, and then she became one of the interviewers, the backstage interviews, and I always thought she was great. And then she went away from there and started go out doing indie stuff, and so I was just absolutely delighted to see her doing those women's tag matches, because I think there's, I don't know about you, it's like I see there's a value to having some people who have gone away come back, Yeah,
that's why we do that with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, he should just go away. But anyway, so we had our big payoff of the Orange Cassidy Jericho match last week. Orange won. It wasn't exactly clean, I guess. I don't know. It was a good match.
Honestly, don't remember how it ended. I know he won, but I don't remember.
It was not. See, that's the thing. It's like, it's unfortunate, because at the time I remember being excited, going, "Oh, good, he won." But now a week later, I'm like,
well, to be honest, like in the week of wrestling that we've had, there's just been more attention on what WWE's got going on.
I think you're right.
It definitely has been a week for them. They're making moves. To be honest, Raw was not awful.
No, it wasn't. With the exception,
and actually, they're building some decent stuff for SummerSlam if it all goes right.
I agree, and there's a ton of stuff I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's teasing there's going to be some big swerve. In fact, they even say it in their slogan now. You'll never see it coming. Well, I bet I fucking will.
So is this retribution? Is that what it's saying? And it's going to be their reveal. And it's going to be someone no one saw coming. I mean, who's out right now that could be coming back? That's,
I don't know. They fired half half their talent.
Yeah, but and the other thing too is, like, could it be the NXTers now that they're moving out of the Performance Center and it comes back that it was them all along? You know what I mean? They have history of doing that, like at Nexus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's the deal. For me, for a long time now, anytime WWE has said, "Oh my God, we're really going to surprise you," they've disappointed the crap out of me. You know, anytime they tell me, "Hey, this is big and it's coming," they don't over deliver on the hype. See, and that's always been the thing. It's like if you under promise and over deliver, then everybody's happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but now you say, "Oh, you're never going to see it coming. You're never going to see it coming." In fact, the biggest party of the summer, you're never going to see it coming. And it's and I just like whatever they do, I got a feeling I'm going to go, okay.
I mean, they have a few different things set up to be swerves, which half of them, a lot of people know they're coming because we obviously this is going to be the beginning of Sasha and Bailey's break.
Mm-hmm.
Why else would they each be having a title match with the same damn person on the same pay-per-view?
See, I'll tell you, and let me just say this about that one. I think, to me, a swerve would be if Asuka won them both.
Yeah, and she could.
Because here's the thing. Now, granted, they probably won't do this because they're in a rating slump. But if they did that, Bailey and Sasha, that feud would not need belts.
Oh, no, it definitely doesn't. I just don't know if Asuka versus Shayna Baszler. Well, not even that could be. I
don't even think it's going to be Asuka versus Shayna Baszler.
I just think
Baszler. I think, you had Nia Jax come in and monkey around, and then you had her come in and be kind of a, baby at the Underground, which is apparently sticking around.
I mean, it will for a few months until people are like, okay, like I got bored with it again halfway through.
I'm already bored with that.
I mean, well, and that's just it. I wasn't like even like that was my time to get up and be like, oh, I'm gonna go take a pee now. It's the pee break, or just when I'm looking at my phone and not paying too much attention. That was that. Like, I get it. It was interesting. Like, first of all, the one thing it worked for on this week's show is it was a great way to bring in her two friends there.
Yeah. I would agree.
I can't remember their names.
I can't either. The other of the four horsewomen.
Yeah. They need easier names to remember, guys.
Yeah. Buffy and Mindy is fine with me. I could remember that every day.
Jesse something. I can't remember off the top.
Yeah, Jesse and Miafala.
But it was a really great way to debut those two, being that they're known. It's known that they come from that world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to have Baszler being the one talking them up and stuff like that. Because to be honest, are we going to see Ronda Rousey ever come back? Who knows?
I
think maybe just because they'll offer her the right price for, even just a 3-month run to do something.
I'll tell you what, I would not see that coming if she showed up.
I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, though.
I don't either, but I wouldn't see that coming. Here's things that I can see coming. I can see Charlotte coming back.
Yeah.
And they may, and see, that's the thing. They may say, "Oh, you didn't see that coming, did you?" I don't know if Edge is healthy enough to see Edge come back. I think it'd be too early, but
yeah, I think he was almost a year out.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know. I think Orton's going to win the belt.
I mean, I think Orton's going to win the belt, but that it makes sense because they really do, I think, want Drew to win again when the crowd is back. And that's kind of been the talk, is that Orton's going to probably win this one for the purposes of holding it till they can finally have an audience and then have Drew win it there.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is that's been a great story.
Orton is at this point, I would say Orton at this point, and it's hard because, WWE does not like to be a promotion of heels, but Orton is the top star right now on Raw, as far as I'm concerned. And to be honest, I haven't watched it very much, but I think AJ Styles just this last Friday, and I'm interested to see what happens, has really cranked it up over on SmackDown.
A lot of people were really into the fact that Joseph Park was on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially just because of the history of those two that they have. So that's cool. And I saw the highlights of it. I like it. And it's total AJ heel, and it's what he would have been doing with the OG if they were still there. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what's nice. And I like now that he has you know, kind of the nerdy lackey. Because to be honest, I mean, they could build that into something.
Oh God, yeah.
Having a Abyss versus AJ match in WWE, which would be crazy.
People would lose it.
It'd be crazy, but who knows? Because you never know what's coming down the road. Because now it's already been said that Goldberg has 2 more years with WWE that guarantees 2 matches each year. But freaking
let them all be at Saudi.
I don't understand it, and
let them all be at Saudi.
And I get it. I said something on Twitter today about it and said, like, someone has to explain this, because the man, and someone said, they were like, well, because I was like, this guy has like very few moves. He cannot do an actual match. You would never catch him doing chain wrestling to build a story and do like an actual finish and storytelling a ring. He can't do that, you know. And someone on Twitter said, like, well, yeah, but in those times it was the awe and the big look and the big, just, you know, overkind. I get that, but even then, those guys who were doing those gimmicks, Undertaker, you know, other places, Undertaker and like, you know, Rock and Austin, all them, they were all that big and grand, but they work in the ring. So like, because again, too, I was never a fan. Day one when he debuted, all I would ever say as a kid was, all he does is spear and jackknife.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if he actually has to wrestle?
Well,
you know,
yeah.
And it's pretty ridiculous. Like,
well, what happens when he has to wrestle is he hurts people.
Well, and that's just it, you know. And so I don't get it, you guys. You tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, and I know people who are huge Goldberg marks, and that's awesome. But when you get really down to it, you can't call that guy a great wrestler, one of the greatest wrestlers, and he's not. Because then you're kind of pissing on everyone that came before him, because anyone who's got that against on their name before him can work in a ring.
Right.
They can do what he does, but they can work in the ring, with the exception of, I'm not going to lie. You got me. Hogan. Let's be honest. He wasn't anything great,
but he could do longer than a 5-minute match.
He could do longer than a 5-minute match, but he could tell the story in the ring, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. How we saw Goldberg in WCW for how long before we saw him have to sell
180 some matches, I think, wasn't it? I mean, it was. I don't know. It's probably
even then it was like a shit,
but it was. Yeah, I would say it was close to a year.
You want to be called one of the greatest wrestlers in the business, you got to be able to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that guy is not. So, and again, prove me wrong. And I've had some people be like, watch this match, and I'll watch him. I'll watch him again. I think I was told DDP, Halloween Havoc 98. I think I was told to watch that one. And I will. I'll watch it again just to see. But I mean.
But here's the thing. The only matches that he could work in, because there's the famous one about William Regal or Steven Regal. You know, William, I think it was the WC, just about whipping his ass when, I mean, in a regular match that he just, but anytime he had a longer match, it was because whoever he was in there with could carry him.
Well, and that's just it. You know, you're in there with DDP, who at that time could make anybody look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's, again, whatever. I get it if people like him, and that's cool. That's your thing. And to be honest, you can't deny what was done. And the one thing I'll give him is he did have a cool entrance. I'll give him that. They really made it theatrical. The whole,
oh god, yeah, the whole
locker room all the way to the ring, slowly picking up another security guard. Which, let's be honest, is kind of dumb. They would all just been at the door when he came out and walk him there. And let's be honest, why do you need that many security cards? You're Goldberg, and on top of that, like, even the NWO didn't have that many security. Like, why was he the only one that got 20 security cards for his damn entrance? Like,
because he needed them.
That was, but you also have to look at there's some truth to what I'm saying, because if there wasn't, Gilberg would have never been as over as he
Oh
was.
yeah.
Let's be honest. People freaking love Gilbert.
Mhm.
Rightfully so. The guys, it's hilarious with the sparklers and all that. It's great because he's making fun of something that was just, and rightfully so, because WWE saw it too. Like, they're like, what's the deal with it? Like, and that's why they mimicked that. And it was great. You know, maybe if he would have did more, and this has nothing to do with the companies, but when he was getting big in WCW,
Yeah.
obviously they were in some turmoil. Obviously booking wasn't going correctly. You saw that because when he finally did lose, it was kind of a sham, and that was when everybody was in it for themselves, and then the end happened. So I mean, would have been fun to see him longer in WWE to see what he could have did when there was actually good booking happening or decent booking.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it didn't work out because he wasn't used to that. It was, I go over. I'm Goldberg.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, no, you ain't shit here, bro. Like you got the Rock tonight. You ain't shit.
And he was not a very good talker either.
Oh, he was horrible. That's why all he had was the catchphrase, "You're next."
Yeah.
You guys, the writing is right on the wall. Like, he hardly talked. He only did 2 freaking moves for how many, for 2 years or some shit. Like, stop with saying he's a Hall of Famer and that he's a legend and that he's one of the best in the biz, because he is none of those things and never will be.
Well, here's the thing. They'll probably put him in the Hall of Fame because he probably got it in his contract or a contract.
Yes. Is he a big name? Yes. Does he have a good look? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Yeah, he would not be in my Hall of Fame.
No, hell no. Gilbert gets that spot before he does shit.
Yeah.
Or at least sparklers.
Yeah. All right. So other matches that catch your attention.
Well, I got the
for SummerSlam
right here. I got the card right here. Like we said, the championship match with McIntyre and Orton.
And by the way, I would not mind watching Randy Orton punt Gilbert in the head. I would pay to see that.
You're just an evil man. Anyways, we might see Randy Orton, though, get kicked in the face, because it sounds like Shawn Michaels is going to get involved somehow.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it is what it is. Shawn Michaels.
I never see that coming.
Shawn Michaels looking old, though. Holy
crap. God, yeah. He's got to get rid of that beard.
Damn, man. That's like my childhood. That was crushing, because that makes me know that I'm getting old. Like,
well, dude, you compare him to back when he was up here in the AWA.
Oh, damn, he was a baby.
He was a child. I have socks older than that.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It made me feel really old. Braun Strowman versus The Fiend.
Zero interest.
I don't think anybody really cares about the whole match. I think everybody's just more, what's going to happen with Alexa Bliss, and is she going to end up being Sister Abigail? That's
yeah. But here's the biggest problem with that whole scenario. I don't know what the fruit they're trying to do with Strowman, but it's like you can't have two heels. It's like they have two. Not only are they two heels, the two monsters.
Right. Well, I feel like we're gonna see Braun probably attack Alexa again at this match somehow. Like, she comes down.
Do you think the Fiend is going to become a face?
Well, here's what he's going to do, though. He's going to save her. And it's going to be like, oh, he came to her rescue, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when they'll probably be like, oh.
I wish they would do that with somebody else, because, to be honest,
she should be in the title run in the women's division.
Yeah, Alexa
storyline.
She's too good to be wasted on some chintzy character like that.
But in my opinion, what that is, you don't really have a chance, because they're revolving both titles around basically 3 women.
Yeah.
And that is these 2 next matches: Sasha Banks versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship, and then Bayley versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I mean, this could go any which way, but all we know is Asuka's going to win one of them at least.
That's right.
And Sasha and Bayley are not going to be, they're not going to like fully break up, but this is where you're going to see like the big crack.
Yeah, because they can't break up, because they have to defend the titles, the tag titles.
Which is why that's and really weird that that's the next week.
See, I think Asuka's going to win them both, or
and maybe, but then I bet she's dropping one of them at Payback, since it's the next
either that, or I mean, I know they've done stupider things. Maybe she wins one and then gives her spot to Shayna.
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it though, just because.
But I'd never see it coming.
Well, I know, but the reason why it wouldn't work though is because everybody would be like, "Oh, so you're just cool with Becky and like everybody else holding 2 championships at once, but you don't let the Chinese lady do it." Like,
yeah, but here's the thing. I mean,
weird. I mean, yeah, like you said, no one would see it coming because.
And let's be honest, since the Money in the Bank, all bets are off.
Oh, this is true, but. We also got to keep in mind this is going to be in a different setting now.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's see how that all plays in too, and we'll get to that after we run.
We'll never see it. You know what? Wait a minute. You'll never see it coming. I wonder if they're actually going to do all the matches inside a bus, a moving bus
that crashes into the Thunderdome.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
we'll get to that later.
Another match, and I think this one. Even though I'm sick of Seth Rollins, it has my interest, and I am really interested to see how this all plays out. And that's him versus Dominic Mysterio. Street fight. Ray is going to be there. I want to see Dominic come out and like be his own guy.
Agreed.
Him come out and actually have a good fight. You know, like it'd be such a waste to have all the shit with him and Brock Lesnar, all this now to then have him just get his ass beat. And then that's like it. You know what I mean? Like, especially because you're putting this guy straight on SummerSlam. There's a lot of younger talent in NXT that are like, what?
Mm-hmm.
We've been here for how long? And this kid's just got, now granted, he's got probably some of the best training in the world just from his family alone. But, still, it's politics, it's wrestling, it's business. I mean, he's got to come out looking strong.
Yep.
Got to come out looking strong. Raw Tag Team Championship, Street Profits, Andrade, Angel Garza.
These guys have been wrestling together for so long,
but they finally just now made it interesting. Because before it was just they were just wrestling and it was stupid, but now you actually have some storyline to it. She poisoned the guy. You got Bianca getting involved.
And that's the thing. I'm more interested in seeing Bianca and
this is going to lead. Yeah, and this has got to lead to that somehow. I'm not gonna lie, it was stupid that they had that first week when the Bachelorette chick was there, and it was just like, who are you and why are you here?
Yeah,
okay, but I enjoyed how they were using her this week in the middle, like kind of in the middle of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Angela Dawkins out there, kind of like hitting on her, but they'd be like, "Oh no, it's because of the video." And this also involved. Probably one of the best segments I saw on Raw. Not one of the best, but I mean, like, just Samoa Joe talking to them about this video, and then him talking to Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy at ringside was better than some of the action that happened on the show.
Oh, dude, I love the fact that they had them talking to him while the match was going on.
I felt a little bad about that just because that was Mickey James' first match back, and they just pissed on it.
Yeah.
At first, my first thought was like, "Oh, damn, they're keeping Joe busy tonight." And then I was like, "Oh, but they just crapped up. Like this could have." Because the other thing that I had a problem with is the Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins stuff. I didn't need one entire segment dedicated to catching me up on that.
Right.
You could have did that in a 3-minute sec. Like speed the shit up.
Well, and this is one of the reasons I think that they're losing viewers, because it's like it's so easy to turn away from it. I don't know what if they think that they're getting a bunch of casual listeners that are watching for a little bit and leaving, and because they're confused. I don't think that's the case. I think it's oversaturation. But having said that, I agree with you, Joe, from being a badass from that announcer table when the other two guys get up and run off. He just sits there.
Hey, why are you running, Todd?
I mean, there's a whole lot of cool stuff they can do with that if they allow it.
Yeah, man. Moving on to the next match, Apollo Crews versus MVP for the United States Championship. The Hurt Business it ain't hurting business. It's good.
Yeah,
a good
I
thing.
agree.
It's a nice faction to have. And they're strong. They're strong. I like how they almost made Benjamin look like the weak one, but then he right away got the 24-hour
Got
title
it back.
even though he lost it again later. But I mean,
Yeah.
the bottom line though is that whole trio looks tough, and I like it. And it looks like we might maybe see Cedric Alexander come over, maybe.
Yeah.
And this is another one too. I'm very interested in this, and we'll have to actually talk about the other situation that happened with one of these people. But Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, hair versus hair, they've done a really good job building this feud. It's just gonna be a good match. I think it's gonna be these two know each other so well, so I think they're gonna have a good show.
I agree with you. I honestly, I kind of feel like I never saw it coming. Mandy's going to get her head shaved.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like that's where they're going to, is that Mandy's gonna,
because they've already cut her back some.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but it's gonna be good either way. What is it? Is there am I seeing this right? Is Matt Riddle? Okay, yeah, Matt Riddle, King Corbin match as well.
Yeah, Dan, you're absolutely right. It is. They're. I mean, yeah, but at this point, what are they going to do? They've got those huge contracts. They got to fill the time with something. I mean, I will say this: it's better than when they were showing entire matches from pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's true too. But the bad part is this is back to normal, because this is
you're right,
before pandemic.
Yeah,
and the problem is, again, they don't know what to do with half of their rosters, and that's the problem, because there's some talent there. They can make, like, again, the Samoa Joe thing with was that Rollins and Buddy Murphy that was going during the match.
Yep,
that could have been its own thing,
right?
Should have been its own thing, really, because that is a big match. And again, it's just kind of sad. You've done so much to build up your women's division, and you're slowly just kind of letting it fall apart again.
Yeah.
In certain aspects. So it's, that was rough. But did you hear about the stuff with Sonya Deville that happened yesterday? That was crazy.
Very, very odd, weird, and strange. Apparently he'd been stalking her for a year.
Yeah, dude, there's some really crazy fans, because I don't know if you've ever read some of the stories about, there's a guy who like constantly goes to the performance center and gets arrested. He claims he's going to be a wrestler and all. He's like crazy. He's even shot at the building before. He was the one that shot at it a couple years ago. Like, there are some real crazy people, but that was, I mean, they found him with like tape and a knife and mace.
Well, he said he was going to kidnap her.
Yeah, like that was mess, and that he was going to like cut, because it turns out Mandy Rose was with her.
Oh fuck!
Did you hear that? That came out.
Oh, I did not hear that part.
Yeah, so it came out that, like, and they apparently might have been face to face, but like, I guess he sent a message to her on Instagram, like saying like, I'm by your pool and I'm gonna cut the girl you're with or some shit. And like, it was like right at that time, and like he got in the house apparently, and I think if I read it correctly that they got face to face, and she was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then they got out into the garage and took off.
Yeah, I heard that he got in and they got out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
I didn't know they were face to face. Holy crap!
I guess there was like, maybe not face to face, but they at least saw each other, because I guess she yelled at him.
Holy crap!
Stop, man! That messed up. But it's also kind of like, man, what are you thinking, dude? Like, because she used to fight.
I would think
MMA background.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I may be a big guy, but I also think that if I decided I was going to go up to anybody that had any MMA training, that they would bust me in the fucking mouth and end that shit real quick, no matter what I had. You're right. I mean, it's a numbers game, and I don't know. I mean, Jesus, I miss seeing Lance Archer. You know,
Dark. He was on Dark tonight.
Oh, was he? I'll have to watch that after. I didn't watch it.
They've seemed to switch the roles, I've noticed, with him and Jake, though, as far as like, you know, how Jake was like the man who talked to him and all this, and he's still kind of is. But now you're seeing like Lance Archer be a more aggressive, like kind of bossing Jake around.
Oh, good.
Kind of making Jake look weak. So that's a little interesting. But yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be these next 2 weeks. It's going to be fun to watch because I feel like SummerSlam has potential to be really good. And then the next, maybe it's not the next week. Maybe it's 2 weeks after. Yeah, it's 2 weeks after because the next week would be Payback. And then the week after we have All Out.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see what they're going to do with All Out. But yeah, so again, there's potential to be a really good SummerSlam here. We'll see what happens on Friday. I'm sure there may be some stipulations, maybe even a match added or something like that.
Yeah.
But and then you got NXT on Saturday, which should be a really good show as well. Again, I'm fully in for Pat McAfee and Adam Cole.
Is that one on the Saturday or is that one on Wednesday?
On Takeover. It's a Takeover.
It's on the Takeover. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's on Saturday.
Which is Takeover 30, by the way, right?
Yeah, the big 3-0.
Man, that's amazing to me.
I know.
But they're always good.
Yeah, they are. They really are. So yeah, it'll be cool to watch that happen. Trying to think of some of the other matches on that card. Well, Keith Lee and Karrion Kross or Killian Cross.
Karrion.
Is it Karrion? Karrion, right?
Karrion Kross.
Because he blinded him with the contract.
I saw. Oh my God. He can't even open a book anymore. And then Dakota Kai and Io Shirai, which I'm all for. Go Dakota Kai. And then so let's touch on this real quick, and then we can talk about the Thunderdome. Okay.
What's your thoughts on the returning Velveteen Dream?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, honestly. I think situationally, I think everybody should, have a chance for redemption. I don't know I don't know how that's a lot different than what some of these other folks have done. I don't know that it'll hurt NXT. I kind of feel like it's going to hurt him a little bit, but I don't know. It's
an interesting thing because a lot of fans didn't take that well. There's a lot of talk that there's a lot of heat backstage too, because before everything, he wasn't the most well liked because apparently he a little bit of an ego maybe.
Yeah.
The interesting thing though is Triple H has said in an interview today or yesterday, or maybe a few days, I don't remember, this week, that they did investigate all these claims and it was proven to not be true or whatever. But it makes you wonder, like, did they really investigate it? How hard did they investigate? Because to be honest, if none of that stuff would have happened, yeah, even if it came out that he's kind of a shitty person backstage, just treat, big head.
Yeah.
He'd still be over on TV.
Well, and here's
over big time.
Yeah.
So it's, it's kind of, and the other thing too is I guess apparently a lot of people thought he was pulled off because of those accusations. I thought we've talked about it, but it was due to a car accident.
Right.
But the other thing too is I don't know if a lot of details ever came out about this car accident he was in.
Yeah.
Wow. So the whole situation seems kind of weird, but bottom line is if he has got ego backstage and shit like that, I don't see why they should be bringing the guy back.
But here's the thing too. All right. I mean, are we to trust what Triple H says? Well, and the reason I say that is because did they not fully test people for COVID until they actually had to fully test people for COVID?
Well, and it's the WWE way. I mean, we could write a book about the things Vince McMahon.
That's what Dark Side of the Ring is.
Exactly. So you would hope that it will not continue when he is gone. But maybe that is just the way of business over there. I don't know. You know what? Maybe they did do a thorough investigation and maybe none of that stuff was really true. And if not, then fine. That's cool too.
Yeah.
But it seems pretty mysterious. I don't know. Pretty weird.
Yeah. Well,
I've heard he's kind of a weird cat from other people in the business. So
yeah, honestly, I'm kind of ambivalent to that whole thing. I mean, if they, I'm not a fan of his, one way or the other. So if he was to go away, it wouldn't bother me, you know. But if not, then I don't know.
yeah, it might have been. Who knows?
Oh my God.
So thanks for that segue, Dan. That was perfect. Perfect timing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thunderdome is happening. So it's the Amway Center in Orlando. They've signed a contract, which, first of all, even without a crowd, if they're even showing empty seats, which I'm a little worried that we're not going to get empty seats.
Yeah.
We're going to have something way more crazy. But I'd be down with them. Do you remember they did one of those what was the Sunday night show? Sunday Night Heat. Remember that?
Yeah.
And one Sunday Night Heat was a special, if I recall correctly, and it was Mankind versus The Rock in an empty arena match during the halftime show of the Super Bowl one year.
Yeah, and that was awesome.
And it was great. So, with that being said, it wouldn't be the same because there's no crowd there, but I think it would be an improvement. Just go to the arena, set up like you were on the road, throw the NXT talent in there. At least now they have freaking seats, so they don't have to stand for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And just do what you're doing, but on a bigger scale, and I will feel a little bit more of normalcy as far as the product, and I'll be happy. What I'm worried about is that this Thunderdome is going to be some extremely highly produced thing. They're talking about a super interactive thing. If you look at most sports going on, MLS, I think NHL, maybe baseball's done it. I guess I don't know if NBA's done it. I have not watched really any NBA since they've come back on.
Yeah.
They do the virtual experience, so you can be like on the screen behind the game and people can see you on there while you're watching at home.
Yeah.
My guess is this is what they're going to be doing when they say this is going to be interactive. But my worry is to what extreme are they going to do this? Is the whole ring going to be surrounded by just different blocks of people who are watching at home? Because good Lord, I will not be able to take that.
Yeah, it's going to be a gigantic Zoom show. I don't know. So Dan brings that up about the cage match, and it makes me laugh because my first impression when anybody says Thunderdome is it was the last Mad Max movie before that Mel Gibson was in.
Mm-hmm.
And that was certainly, in my mind, 2 men enter, 1 man leave. And so to call something the Thunderdome, to call something that already has a definition to many people,
it's sloppy.
Is first of all, sloppy and lazy. But secondly, I mean, again, it's just like I said when we started, a really good opportunity to disappoint the hell out of people.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again, going back to an arena, I'm for it.
I'm all about that. But the idea that they've somehow that they're somehow going to manipulate stuff so that they try to make some kind of a ratings grab.
It's just going to be some crazy virtual Cyber Sunday where everybody's going to vote on the matches and crap like that. And
and absolutely, Dan. Absolutely.
You know,
but it's they're going to do it on Friday.
Yeah. They're going to do SmackDown,
and then they're going to do it on Raw, and they're going to do it. And they're going to do it on SummerSlam. I thought.
Yeah. No, they are. They're doing.
It's like this. We're going to. It's so good. We're going to do it on everything without even testing it on anybody.
Well, yeah. Weird thing is they're not doing. They haven't said takeovers from there, which it should be. And to be honest, the way I've understood it, that this is going to be more long term. Like they're going to kind of have a residency there to do the shows, which again, great because the performance center just wasn't working.
Right.
It just wasn't. It was too tiny, and then the hockey boards and all that. It wasn't working. At least AEW was making what they have work.
Right.
As far as their venue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all for this. And to be honest, I'm interested because I'm going to have hopes that they're not going to let me down. It's going to be awesome. And maybe it will be. And that's all we can hope for. I'm going to try to catch it on Friday. I'm on a mini weekend vacation starting Friday.
Yeah.
May not catch it, but
I'm on a show too.
Hmm?
I ended up getting 2 shows this week. So
yeah.
Watch it on the after fact, but
so it'll be interesting to see though. I'm excited and I hope they don't let it be a big letdown, but freaking Thunderdome though. Hell,
I know. Yeah, Thunderdome. I mean, just by the name. Just by the name. There he is. Goro. Good to see him. Good to see you, man.
What's up, Goro? But yeah,
all right.
Yeah, we'll see how the Thunderdome works out though.
All righty. So let's go ahead and our first top 3 countdown is going to be belts, and we'll get right to it. All right. So top wrestling belts, and these are based. So we didn't really talk about exactly what we wanted to do. Top 3 wrestlers Stephanie slept with: Triple H, Macho Man.
But Macho Man would be before Triple H.
Well, no, but I mean it was from 3 to 1.
What? Oh, okay.
Triple H, Macho Man, Test is at the top.
I mean, those are just the ones that were on TV. Who knows what the list would be like.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't have the backstage. We don't have all the.
I want to know how many guys really though backstage when she was like hitting those ages, her early like 20s, and she's around there. How many of the talent guys were really like, hey? Because I mean, everybody knows Vince's reputation, and I mean that's just playing with your job.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Shit. Like you're begging to get fired at that point. So, anyways, yeah. Well, yeah, she really did, Goro.
Yeah, she used to give him the tickles. Okay, so here we go. We have top 3. I have 2 honorable mentions simply because I had a hard time, and as I was looking at the ones that I really liked, right, I found, and we'll talk about this. So the first honorable mention is this lovely Georgia World Championship Wrestling TV champion. I mentioned this to Ace. I have a tendency to like the enameled belts.
You like greatness.
There's something about it, right? And this big old thing. Here's the reason I like the enameled belts for TV championships versus the gold, because I think the gold ones should be for the actual championships. And the enameled ones can be for TV because they're more flashy. But one of the things I liked is the side plates with the flags on them. Mm-hmm. I always thought that was kind of cool. NWA did that also on their globe belt, as I recall. But they didn't have as many. I think they only had 8 on there. But so that's an honorable mention, and I'll get back to that in a minute. So that's that one. My second honorable mention is the current AEW belt, because I just there's something about the color difference, and you can't see it great on this one, but the silver and gold blend and the way that it's kind of multifaceted there, I really kind of like that one. Let me catch up on these here. Tickle the Pickle, Flair's, yep, the real world title belt. Why do I have WWE's belt? Because I here's the thing, Garo. I'm not into the top 3 yet. I'm just in the honorable mentions. Okay,
you do like the colored ones though.
Be patient. Be patient.
You like the colored one though.
Be patient. Anyway, so those are my 2 honorable mentions.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I'll take the Divas butterfly belt as my honorable mention. Thanks.
Okay. Garo. I don't have a picture of it, but
no,
all right. Fine. So here's all right. So here's your number 3, on your list.
Yeah, man. That's my favorite, man. So I was an 80s kid, man. I was born in 82. So I remember watching like WrestleMania 2 and 3 and stuff. That was like my introduction to this. And growing up, until I got to Minnesota when I went to shows when I was young, that was the only time I saw AWA. So really, I grew up as a WWF guy. So that, yeah, man, that was my belt, man. That thing came out in 88. Hogan brought it out, right?
Yep.
It was just a great belt, man. It was classic. It looked good. It was clean. It had the big eagle on it. When Warrior got it, he changed up the straps a few times, and he had like light blue, white, yellow, purple. Slaughter rocked the purple one as well. And then when the Attitude Era came, they kind of changed it a little bit, so it was newer.
Yep.
Kind of still the same thing, but not really. And then eventually when Jericho won the Undisputed, that Attitude Era of that version kind of went away. But man, that was one of my favorites, man. That I love the blue gold globe on it, and it was just a clean classic belt.
Absolutely.
That's why I like the AEW one right now too, is that's the newest belt to kind of have classic vibes to it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure they did. But I think turn that around.
I heard Paige and Xavier were watching that while they were filming their video.
That makes sense. There you go. You gotta vote from Dan on that one.
Hell yeah!
All right, here comes my number 3. And I'm gonna pop this one up first because I have 3 and 3A. It's the ROH Television Championship. Now I love it because of the size of it. I love the height of the belt. And it just looks nice. But I'm also going to pop up this one, which is a previous version that is more enameled. There's something about this one that I like as well. It's got the same type of height, but it's not like the other one. Here, I'll let you compare them a little bit because obviously there's a huge difference. But I didn't just come on, you dumb thing. I didn't like it simply because there's the enameling. I'm nuts about stupid enamel stuff. But ROH being a television, basically a television almost exclusively promotion, that television belt means something. And I love the way it looks. I just love the way it looks.
You keep talking about these enamel belts, and I'm really hoping that the Butterfly Divas belt is on your list.
It's not.
Ah, damn.
I'm sorry. All right. So your number 2 belt.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Come on. It don't get no classic than this. So, like, what? DiBiase, he couldn't win the belt himself. He lost in the final match of the WWF Championship tournament back in, I don't remember what Mania it was, but he lost to Savage. And then, so what do you do if you're the $1 Million Man? Because you're that badass. You just create your own damn title. And you call it the $1 Million title. That's great. And that's what he did, man. And to be honest, we all know it was a storyline belt. It wasn't actually acknowledged, which was that stupid to say wrestling storyline, but it was never acknowledged by like WWF as an actual sanctioned title belt. Only like 2 people had matches for it. Jake the Snake Roberts stole it, which then set up to a feud with them, which then also led to a big boss man babyface turn. And then Virgil, of all people, got a shot.
Virgil had the belt.
Virgil had it for a little bit. And then eventually DiBiase IRS won the tag titles and they just ditched the belt. They retired it. But I mean, that thing was sick, man. They used to claim it was like $40,000. And it was.
But look at all of those diamonds, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, that's not all real. I think there's only like a few actual real diamonds.
Really? It's not all real? Really?
But, like, oh, it's so great, though.
Like, it is beautiful.
Seen it in person? Have you?
The real one? No.
Oh man, they have it always at the accesses and stuff like that, man. That thing it's pretty sick looking. So
I believe you.
It's just fun because everyone remembers that belt. Because I mean, the $1 Million.
Everybody has a prize.
Well, and that's just it. That was such a great gimmick. Yeah, his gimmick was so good. He put over a belt that they could. I mean, they tried to bring it back. And of all people, the ringmaster, Steve Austin, had it for a little bit. Bring it back. Apparently, it just turns everything to gold.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. That's a great one. All right. My number 2 is the IWGP Heavyweight Championship belt. I just love the way that it looks. I love the fact that on the side plates, You've got the names of former winners. This is classic to me, and it makes absolutely perfect sense. It's not only a great looking belt, it's got a lot of history to it, and it becomes a historical document because it's like the Stanley Cup. You get your name on the belt.
Amen.
And I love the gold and silver inlay. And that's the reason, because it reminded me of how much I like the AEW belt. That contrast, and they are similar in that inlay. And I would think that maybe they leaned on this one a little bit to make that AEW championship as well.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. But it's a great looking belt.
So what I'm going to do now is, because in my mind, your belt, your number one belt trumps my belt.
Ooh.
I'm going to bring my number one up now, which is the NWA title. 17 for WrestleMania 3. Gosh, Dan, you're a youngster.
Yeah, I wasn't quite that old yet.
The NWA Television Championship. Now, I love this. Again, the enamel work. You've seen it on a red strap. You've seen it on a black strap. The biggest thing to me is the side plates.
Yes.
I don't know how in the hell they were able to clear an ABC logo, an NBC logo at the time, with the peacock and the CBS logo.
Yeah, this is truly one of a kind because of that.
I mean, and I will be honest with you. I saw an actual ring used version of this belt. At least they said it was, and they were looking for $30,000 for it, which seems like a lot. But I mean, I'd be happy with the replica, which I think you can get for about 180.
Nice.
But I wanted to point this out because Ace and I talked about this a little bit beforehand. As much as I love those side plates, and as much as I love the side plates on this TV championship, some of the belt makers these days will interchange shit. All right. And I actually saw one that was this version of the front of the belt and then had those side plates. I would buy the shit out of that one.
Yeah.
Because I think there's more going on. Yeah, I'm having a little internet problem, so I'm stuck on some things, cats. I would buy come on, undo. Well, this is great. This is going to be great, a great show, because now I can't get the thing to come off of there. Perfect. Undo. Well, I can still see you down in the side channel, Ace.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I undo. Hold on, I'm gonna do a little something. You might be on your own talk.
Yeah, we got to figure out JR's internet situation. I think it needs to be a better place for this, but that is a really cool looking belt, though. Like, you will not see major networks on a belt like that. You're not going to see that nowadays, obviously, because each network has their own promotion. So, that's why you're never going to see that again. So that, plus also that being NWA, so it was territorial still. It was still these other little promotions all banding together. So just very, very cool belt that you won't see very, very often. So yeah, man. And as soon as JR can get back on here, we're going to continue with our with my number one. But otherwise, I'm going to just give some cheap plugs out, and that is we got the Briscoe and Big A show, which is myself. JR just said he lost his internet, so he'll be back as soon as he can get that back on. Otherwise, if it's too long, I'll just talk about my belt, and you can have to just imagine what it was. As far as picture, most of you would know what it is. But again, man, while you guys are here, check out the Briscoe and Big A show. You can find it on YouTube. VOC Nation, VOC Radio Nation has the exclusive audio versions. Check them out as well. Me and professional wrestler Wes Briscoe, the son of Jerry Briscoe. We do a show kind of bi-weekly. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. We just recently had a friend of the show, Red Velvet, on, who was also on Dynamite tonight, or not Dynamite, Dark, AEW Dark tonight, had a great match. So check that out. Yeah, check us out, guys. Some cool videos on the YouTube as well. Cool vlog of Wes and Red Velvet going to a show at Atomic in Cocoa Beach, Florida, a promotion they wrestle with. Who will also be having EC3's first independent match very shortly, since he's been released. So check those guys out as well. But yeah, man, the Briscoe and the Big A show. So I'll just start talking about my belt then while we're stuck on JR's #1 belt because he lost his internet decided to freeze. So yeah, I chose and I think, Dan, if you're still hanging out, even though you can only see that one picture, I think you mentioned it earlier, the World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. And the reason I chose it is, A, it has my favorite look, that big ass solid gold plate and the side plates, and just man, it was just a really, again, I like the classic just polished look, which is probably why me and him disagree as far as belts. Like JR said, he likes the enamel, likes the color. Man, to me, that just big ass gold plate, the classic feel, the writing, the design, the red rhinestones, man, that thing is just great looking. And it has a really great story, because that is really that's the only belt that I can think of that went from basically NWA, the territories, that actually then was used on the modern day product of WWE after the Attitude Era, or tail end of the Attitude Era, and then some, and then the Next Gen or whatever it was. Because that belt started I think it was 89. I don't remember. It was in the 80s. WCW was using that belt. But at the time they were still a member of the NWA. So at some point, I think it was in 91, Ric Flair was awarded, he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and he was awarded the WCW's version of the belt, Big Goldie, they call it. And he carried that all the way into then WCW, which then became their main title. And then obviously, as WWE acquired WCW back in, oh man, I can't even remember the year. Was it 2002, 3, something like that? Yeah. And then WWE got that belt. They took it, they used it, they ran with it for a while. It was great getting to see, again, Ric Flair was the first holder of that belt, and he was technically the NWA championship, the National Wrestling Alliance champion. To see that come all the way across the board, that you eventually saw Edge and John Cena and Undertaker. Man, did The Rock hold it? I don't even remember, but man, all of that, just a great story and a great just length of history of that belt. Still sad. If they brought that belt back now, I don't think anyone would be upset with it. I really don't. Yeah, and seeing WWF was a member too, before Vince took over, when it was Vince Senior. But like I was saying, when that belt took over or became introduced, though, they were long gone by that point. So that's what makes this the Big Goldie, the World Heavyweight Championship title, so awesome, is that it literally was something that was represented on the NWA stage, but then still was able to make it in the modern day product with WWE, especially being that WWE was not one to ever really bring anything out of that NWA era. I mean, they did some throwback stuff, especially early 90s, like kind of right when that all ended, and they brought like the new Midnight Express over, or whatever it was. I mean, they did some things, but it just to see that belt go through the hands it went to, knowing that it started with Flair, and then all the way back to again when they retired it, which would have been man, I don't even remember when they was it 2011? Yeah, and and that's why they were able to use that. But like you'd think, but, hey, man, it was a great belt. It's the only belt I have actually had a replica of. I've never owned any belts. I've never bought, even as a kid, I remember wanting like a toy belt and I never got one. So, to eventually have an actual replica belt, which the thing was heavy. That's what's hilarious when you get those belts. You don't realize they're going to be that heavy. Man, and had that thing sitting on my apartment or on the wall, and that big gold plate. Or man, it was a pretty belt.
Hey, how about that? Wow, those people watched you talk about whatever you were talking about, because I don't know what you were talking about, over the picture of that belt for that long. That was awesome.
Yeah, man. I gave some shout outs to the show of me and Wes.
Oh yeah.
And then I just went into it, man. So just to catch you up, like I was saying, the reason I chose that belt as my number one belt is because this is the only belt. There you go, guys. Now, if you didn't know, now you know. Again, just that classic look with the vine, whatever the hell it is, with the crown and the world and the big nameplate,
rubies.
It's just
four diamonds.
Yeah, man. It's
rubies.
Just a classic belt.
It's like an old. And here's a picture. And this is unfortunately the Undertaker blurry, but when you showed that belt to me over the phone. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, every once in a while I have a little internet glitch. But when you showed me that one on the phone, I'm like, oh yeah, because I thought of that one, and then I'm like, oh yeah, well, whatever. But then to see it on the Undertaker is really like boom.
Well, and I was just saying while you were gone, is what's amazing about that belt is that's the only belt that was used by WWE in modern day, when it was WWE and only WWE.
Yeah,
that came from NWA, because that was WCW's belt.
Yeah,
in the 80s, when they were still part of NWA, and Ric Flair was the first to hold it as NWA champion. And then eventually, when WCW broke off from the NWA, the alliance, they took the belt with them. It was theirs. And then eventually WWE buys out WCW. The belt comes with them. So again, to see this thing go from Ric Flair as NWA champion to then see those modern day, like Taker, Edge, Cena, Orton, Batista, all those guys get to hold this belt. Triple H, you know what I mean? Man, there's so much history behind that belt, and just the different places it's gone. So that's, and it's like I was telling them too, it's the only belt I've ever owned. It's the only belt I ever had a replica, and it was gorgeous.
Was it expensive?
No, well, so I got lucky. Somebody I knew knew somebody who was at some benefit, I guess, in Washington DC, and they won it in a raffle. It was donated by WWE, and they won it in a raffle, but they're not wrestling fans. So when they came back to town, they were like, "Oh, I got this belt," and he was like, "Oh, my buddy's a fan. He might want to buy it off you." And they were like, "So, I think I got it for $200."
Oh wow!
Usually $3, or at the time it was $3 something online.
Yeah, but still,
and it was in the case and everything. Dude, it was awesome. My only thing is, I wish I would have never brought it to shows. It's just a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass. Everybody wants to hold it. You're having fun. Last thing you want is this belt that you got to lug around and stuff like that. But man, yeah. So that was my number one, man. And I love that belt. Like I said, that's the one belt I wish they'd bring back.
It's fantastic, and obviously that's the reason that I put yours up in front of mine. So, as a kind of a review, all right, I feel like I like the flashier belts, and you like the more meaningful belt.
Yeah, I like the classic look, that just solid gold and stuff. Yeah, they blurred it out.
Yeah,
I remember that on WWF programming. They would blur it out. That was the storyline almost. Was, I can't believe you brought that here. You can't show that on our TV. Man, dude, the 80s and 90s were so much fun for wrestling.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Really were great times.
Well, for those of you that are watching and may say, "What the hell you got going on behind you?" This is Central States All Star Wrestling that used to play on Saturday mornings in Des Moines, Iowa. This is from 1984. They were still doing it. I actually stopped watching All Star Wrestling and switched over to WWE in probably, I'm going to say, about 1978 or 79, maybe 80. Simply because they had bigger stars, and this was classic, just old school, still old school stuff. There was not a lot of flash to it.
Mm-hmm.
The only flash would be every once in a while they'd have a good masked duo. And my favorite masked, we should do that sometime. Favorite masked tag teams. One of my tops would be Dr. Ken Ramey and the Interns.
We have to do some digging. Maybe we could do just favorite masks.
Yeah, we could do that.
Mask wrestler. I don't know if we can get into the tag team. Like,
I don't know. There's not enough guys that wore masks that I would. I mean, Mysterio, El Generico, Blue Blazer. What else you need? Who else is? Oh, maybe the Hurricane. Oh, Psychosis. I'm sorry.
La Parka. Hello.
Oh yeah, La Parka.
Are you missing La Parka? That dude was the shit.
I don't know. La Parka is part of my best wrestling story, and you know that. I've already told this many times.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that was our belts. That was fun.
I enjoyed that. And to be honest, we could have cut that segment out and had it be a separate part of and uploaded it, with the exception of
people that. Because we'll do that too. We'll start.
Yeah, well, we're not going to do it with this one.
Yeah, no, we can't. With
there's a 7-minute chunk where there's nothing but a goddamn belt on the screen.
But I was talking though, like.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
yeah, man. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, that's what we were trying to do.
Yeah, and I like it. It's I think belts are part of the lore. There's Ric Flair. See, so even this is Central States, as I mentioned, out of Kansas City, and even in 1984, there's still, and he's got right now, what is that the old globe? Yeah, that's the old globe. If you can see, I'm gonna get Dan's comment off of there, maybe you see it better, and I'll duck down further.
Oh yeah, that's the globe one, yeah.
Yeah, the old, and that one has,
7 pounds or 12 pounds. What is it?
10 pounds of gold.
10 pounds of gold.
But that one has the side plates with one flag on them each.
Yep.
But this is testament to back in 1984, and this is January of 1984, I think, that they're still at that point, they're still trying to do territory stuff, and the NWA is still loosely being held together by some of these territory guys, and so I'm sure that this is just a videotape that they've played that was sent to them, because Flair does not wrestle.
So that's what's great though, is you just said that was 84. He's holding the NWA championship title right there.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 91, he's the NWA champion holding the World Heavyweights Championship gold.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. From Harley Race. And Harley Race, was Kansas City was his home territory, and that was one of the cool things. And it's like a lot of these guys, I mean, he went and obviously wrestled all over the place, but his home wrestling territory was Kansas City. And so we got to see him all the time. And I got to see him as handsome Harley Race with bleached blonde hair and no mustache or no pork chops. Where it was him, and there was another guy in that promotion called Nature Boy Kirby. There was a Nature Boy in every goddamn promotion back then. But it was, God, like you said, all of that stuff was so fantastic. And it certainly wasn't like it is now, where you really, in some cases really have to suspend the disbelief. I don't know who those two guys are. Oh, it is. It's Rock and Roll Express right there, guys.
Very young Rock and Roll Express. I just saw this on the comments. I don't know if you put it up, but I saw that Dan said Cena spinner belt. I'm curious, is that saying he likes the spinner belt?
You know what? So it's odd because that first Cena spinner belt was I think cool because of the novelty. Then there was there not? Did Edge not have a rated R superstar spinner belt?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean they basically just put a big R, his like R-rated R logo on.
Yeah.
On.
I thought it was like in jewel.
It might have been, yeah.
Or something.
See, that's the thing. Back then, everybody got there because Stone Cold had the Smoking Skull belt eventually for a little bit.
Yeah.
Rock, for like very little time, had the Brahma Bull belt. Yeah, man. Like, stop with that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, though. Smoking Skull belt and the Brahma Bull belt are both cool. But then you see what they've gone to now, and you have like the Fiend belt, and that thing just looks like a piece of crap. Like,
well, to be honest, both of the WWE belts look like crap.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I think you're right. Or well, did they though? Because wasn't the
I get screwed up time wise because I know that Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho became undisputed, but I thought spinner belt was after undisputed.
Oh, that might be.
I could be wrong though, Dan. I don't know. I would have to look it up. But yeah, man. I think we went a little longer than we were hoping because of that break. So
well, yeah, we had a nice.
So what do you got? Where are your shows at this weekend?
So this week, they're close to home. I have a show at a. I don't know the name of the place right off the top of my head. I should. I didn't even. It's not even on my website as far as my calendar because it just came up so quick. But there is, I believe, it's the Dancing Dragonfly Winery in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin.
All right.
That'll be on Friday night, and it's already sold out, I guess. It's outside. It's supposed to rain on Friday, but I hope it will hold off because I can't go back on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Saturday, we are at another outdoor show at a winery in Spicer, Minnesota, which is hour and a half, 2 hours to the west of Minneapolis. And on Sunday, because we didn't have our thing, although I haven't heard anything about it yet. Tentatively, we're doing the comedy fundraiser on Sunday at the Lucky 13 restaurant and bar in Burnsville, Minnesota.
That's Sunday.
That's Sunday night, and that will be for a fundraiser for mayor candidate Chris Cleveter. I have never worked at Skyline, Dan, although I have worked numerous places in Wisconsin, and I worked at. In fact, they have comedy at that bowling alley in Sheboygan. I've done that once. The whole thing with Appleton is that it's changed ownership within since I started doing comedy. I've worked at the Potawatomi Casino in Milwaukee. There's a comedy club inside. I think it's a Wyndham Gardens or something like that, right by the lake in Kenosha, or Racine. I can't remember which. I've worked at.
That's where my mom's from.
Yeah. I worked at the Elks Lodge, I think in Racine. I think at the Elk Lodge what happens is I do so many shows I don't remember where the hell I've been at.
You gotta watch out when you're in Racine, bro.
Speaking of, there's Harley Race.
Hell yeah. Awesome, man.
But yeah, so that's what I got going on. And then next week I have this will be interesting. My friend Mark Poulos is doing a saw Brad at the Potawatomi.
Nice.
The Potawatomi Casino is awesome. I worked there. I worked there several times. That would definitely be a place that Brad would perform at. It'll hold a good number of people, and yet it's still it's Skyline. Yeah. Well, that'd be another absolutely perfectly acceptable place. Skyline used to do back in the old days. There used to be a thing called rooftop comedy, and there were a lot of comedy clubs across the country that installed cameras. And I think typically it was just a single shot, but they would install cameras and they would record everything that happened. And a lot of times you'd sign a waiver and you'd get some stuff up on rooftop comedy. I don't know who bought them. It's certainly no longer around, but back in the day, it was quite popular, and Skyline was one of those places, as well as Acme Comedy Club here in Minneapolis. But anyway, that's pretty much it as far as what I got going on. Oh yeah, and then next week on Sunday, August 30th, I'll be at the Island Casino in Harris, Michigan, which is too far for anybody to drive.
Oh, if anybody's watching in Michigan, though, hit it up.
Yeah, even it's too far to drive, even if they live in Michigan. Like if you live in Lower Michigan, you know, did you know that it's from Lower Michigan to like from the very tip, you know, up by Wisconsin, by Apostle Islands, all the way down to it's almost as far as like halfway across the country. Anyway. Oh my God. Yeah, that's an awesome group. Jason Mewes would be funny. Tommy Chong, of course, is
Jason Mewes was supposed to actually be at the Nerding Out convention, which would have been happening a couple weeks ago here.
Oh man. I would totally have him sign something.
Yeah, with our good friends from the Nerding Out toy store and collectible store here in Rochester, Minnesota, about to be in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Brad and Jake, the fine two gentlemen who own that shop, will be coming on this show very soon to talk wrestling and some wrestling toys.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Get your wrestling toy knowledge ready, JR.
Yeah, my wrestling toy knowledge basically is LJNs. And then my kids chewed on them. So once all the paint was gone, why they were worthless.
Those bastards.
I know. Well, they're kids. I mean, they're not now.
Right.
Now they're just a little bit younger than you, but got paint poisoning.
Lead poisoning.
Yeah, lead poisoning, whatever. Lead based.
I hope not. Otherwise, a lot of kids probably have, or a lot of adults nowadays have that from sucking on those LGNs.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, man. I'm not sure. We might be having a show this Thursday, Wes and I, for the Briscoe and Big A show. I know we're working on some guests, so it's been taking a little bit longer. But yeah, man. So check that out. Check the YouTube out, though. Some cool uploads that Wes has put up. I got some stuff I'm working on that I'm going to throw up there as well. We got a Patreon coming very, very soon. So
nice. We had one, but nobody joined it.
I didn't know we had one.
Yeah.
We should probably.
Now I got to go through the whole thing and switch everything. Because it was the old Mass Comedian X.
Oh, yeah. No,
now I got to 2 count it up.
We should do that. We'll have a 2 count Patreon coming soon, so you guys, we'll figure out some cool perks.
Once I have some time to not pay attention to it and switch it all around, I will.
Yeah, man, I did that today for the Briscoe and Big A show. So
you'll have to send a link because I would love to see it, and everybody else would love to see it.
I've got it set up. I got to figure. Me and Wes got to get together and actually talk out the tiers and stuff.
That's the hard part.
It is, like we talked a little bit today, but it was through text, and it was mainly we were just talking about the AEW Dark because we were both, obviously Wes is a very, very close friend of mine, so I'm going to support his lady when she's on TV. Which again, if you didn't watch it, AEW Dark with Red Velvet. Is it Abaddon? That's her name.
I think so.
I thought
she had to wrestle the creep.
I thought it was Abandon at first, but I think they call her Abaddon or something like
Abaddon,
that. Yeah, she wrestled. But it was a good match. It was good.
All right. I can handle it.
They told a story. They told an old school story. It was good.
Oh shoot!
I don't know what that is, but
I popped it up. I can't bring it. Hold on a minute here. Let me see if I can get it.
What is it? Do you know?
Well, I don't know what it is.
Okay, but yeah,
I gotta look.
Yeah, check that out. And while he's pulling it up, if you go to the YouTube, we also got our past episodes. We have some really cool guests. You can catch, like I said, Red Velvet, who you can see on AEW, Mr. Chavo Guerrero Jr. We also had our good friend Heath Slater on the show recently, right before he got onto Impact. So check that episode out. And it's his birthday today. So big shout out to Dr. Tom Pritchard for his birthday today. But yeah, man, we had him on as well. So everybody make sure you check that out. The Briscoe Big A Show YouTube channel.
Nice.
And the 2 Count YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe and all that's good stuff.
All right, here we go. Whoops. Do you see
Look at
it
that.
there?
Yeah, there it is. I like it.
Here's Dan with his Snoochie Boochies.
Yeah, awesome, man.
I love it, Dan. It's fantastic. That's one of my just to let you know, one of my favorite movies of all time is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Did you watch the reboot one?
Yeah, watch the reboot one. I mean, it's
it's not great.
It's
not great. So
you know what?
I'm excited for though. Speaking of another movie, we can end on this because we've gone way too long.
Oh yeah, Mulan.
Yes, I have been waiting all my life for the live action remake of Mulan.
See, I thought so.
Cannot wait. Actually, the only thing I'm not happy about Mulan is there's no indication in the preview for that movie that they brought the little dragon Mushu back. And let's be honest, Eddie Murphy as little dragon's hilarious. So why are you not bringing that back? No, man. Bill and Ted 3 comes out in like a week or two.
Yeah, that's
Bill and Ted Face.
It's going to be interesting.
I am so excited to see that movie.
But by the way, if you've been following my stock tips, which I know nobody does, and you bought some AMC stock, your stock would be up 10% today.
Damn
it. And been seeing articles because they came to an agreement with Universal, and they are now a huge next Friday. I love that movie too. Kidding.
I love that movie too, though.
I do. Next Friday's better than Friday and way better than Friday after next. Anyway, but yeah, AMC apparently is trickling above where I bought it, and really, honestly, right now it's close to a penny stock. It's about 5 something a share, but it is apparently because of its number of locations, not only in the U.S. but in the UK, prime to be bought and taken over by one of the media companies, Amazon, Netflix.
I should have
one of the movie things.
Told me about it.
Yeah, like I said, throw $100 at it, you get about 20 shares, and you can roll like a big guy. And if you know what, I'm sure if you're like me, you've blown $100 on a worse idea than that.
Many.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I was going to propose again because we should really.
No, I'm not marrying you.
No, I was going to propose that we do our first overrated, underrated, and what's the third one?
Rated just right is what I hear. Let me pop this up here because I've got this for
graphic.
So yeah, I like that one better than the one we did for the belts, but I didn't want to do. I need, it's like.
Anyways, new segment, and this is going to be its own video that comes out. It's not going to be part of our actual live Tuesday night show, but I was going to propose that we do the first one Sunday after SummerSlam, but it sounds like you're going to be busy.
Well,
thank you, Mayor Guy, because I'm on vacation Friday and Saturday. I will be away. I will not be watching. So when I come home Sunday, I was going to catch up on NXT AEW, and then I was going to say a SummerSlam watch, and then we can record that and put it out that next day or two.
We can do it on. Here's the thing. Let's do this. Let's plan on. We'll get everything. I'll get caught up. You'll get caught up, and then we'll do our deal, and maybe we can do it Monday night. And pop it up either Monday night or Tuesday morning.
We'll do our best.
And if we don't, you didn't pay anything for it. So there you go. Well, that seems like a good spot to end because my ambition is gone. Appreciate you watching, Dan and Goro, and I think Goro left when we were talking about the belts because he couldn't make fun of the belts enough. As he's like, that's his gig, though. I wish I'm like, I kind of think I might know who that guy is, but I think he's using a fake name.
You have a good week too, Dan. We'll see you soon. We appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, and Goro, man. Yeah, he's our jokester. It's fun when he comes around.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. You have a good one. Everybody else, have a good one. And we will see you next week.